All right, let's just dive right in. I want you to imagine you're an F-15 pilot. 1 second, you're commanding one of the most advanced jets on the planet. The very next, a missile slams into you over hostile territory. You're violently ejected, and suddenly, you are completely alone. You're injured, and you are being hunted. This is the incredible 36-hour story of one U.S. colonel's insane fight for survival and the massive, secret operation launched to bring him home.
And this quote, well, it just perfectly captures the heart of this entire story. When a crisis hits with this kind of speed, with this kind of violence, conscious thought just goes right out the window. It's pure execution. All those years of drills, of practicing emergency procedures, and that relentless training, it all becomes muscle memory. And honestly, it's what separates a survivor from a statistic.
So the event itself was just brutally fast. It's about 7 a.m. over southwestern Iran, and an Iranian surface-to-air missile finds its mark. The F-15E Strike Eagle is literally torn apart. Systems are failing everywhere. Smoke is filling the cockpit, and the pilot and his weapons officer, they have only one choice left.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It really shows you how unbelievably compressed this all was. In just 3 seconds, they go from flying a state-of-the-art fighter jet to pulling the ejection handle. Explosive charges fire, the canopy just blasts away, and rocket seats ignite with a force that literally compresses their spines. And then, just 10 seconds after impact, there they are, dangling from parachutes, drifting silently down into enemy territory.
And this is where a simple gust of wind changes absolutely everything. The two crew members, they get separated in the air. The weapons officer, he drifts down toward a valley, which, makes for a relatively quick rescue. But the colonel, the pilot, he gets carried deeper and deeper into the mountains. This one small difference turns one man's story into a short extraction, and the other's into this harrowing 36-hour ordeal.
The second the colonel's boots hit the ground, the entire mission changes. He's hurt from that violent ejection, he's totally alone, and down in the valley below, Iranian Revolutionary Guard units are already on the move, alerted by the crash. So he's no longer just trying to evade, he is now actively being hunted.
And as if things weren't bad enough, this number pops up. A bounty. Reportedly around $60,000 is placed on his capture. Now think about what that does. That single act turns the entire local population into a potential threat. Every shepherd, every farmer, every single person who might see him now has a huge financial incentive to turn him in. The danger is literally everywhere.
But again, that training just kicks right in. The first rule of survival is super simple. Get away from the crash site. I mean, burning wreckage is basically a giant beacon. So he moves. And he follows the playbook. He starts climbing uphill, putting as much distance and elevation as he can between himself and the search parties. The goal isn't to outrun them, it's to completely disappear.
Just let that number sink in for a second. Nearly 7,000 feet of elevation gain. That's a serious climb for a healthy, prepared hiker on a good day. He did it while injured from the ejection, dehydrated, and with the enemy closing in from below. It's just a staggering testament to his physical endurance and his sheer will to survive.
So after that absolutely brutal climb, the whole nature of his survival shifts completely. He finds exactly what he needs, a tiny, narrow rock crevice. And the mission changes again, from frantic movement to absolute stillness. Every instinct is probably screaming at him to keep moving, but he knows that in this environment, silence and invisibility are his greatest weapons.
And hidden in his vest is this incredible piece of gear, the Cecil. Now, this is not a walkie-talkie. It's his silent lifeline to the outside world. After the ejection, it automatically activates and starts sending these tiny, encrypted bursts of data, his precise location up to military satellites. This is how the rescue team knows he's alive, and more importantly, exactly where to find him.
It's a fair question, right? I mean, in the movies, the hero is always on the radio calling for backup, so why wouldn't he just pick up a radio and say, "Hey, I'm over here, come and get me"? Well, the answer is a matter of life and death.
Because a voice transmission is basically an electronic flare, it's super easy to intercept, and, even worse, it can be triangulated, giving away your exact position to the very people who are hunting you. The C-cell, on the other hand, is all about stealth. Its short data bursts are specifically designed to blend in, appearing to enemy sensors as nothing more than random background noise. It's communicating without shouting.
So while the colonel is hiding, completely motionless, a whole other battle is being fought. And this one isn't happening in the mountains. It's a war of information.
U.S. intelligence begins this masterful deception campaign designed to misdirect the entire Iranian search effort.
This was the bait. This carefully constructed story was quietly fed through intelligence channels. The narrative claimed the pilot was already recovered and was being moved out by a ground convoy. Of course, it wasn't true. But in the world of intelligence, what people believe is often way more powerful than the truth.
And did it work? Oh yeah, it worked perfectly. As you can see here, Iranian forces completely shifted their focus. They started pulling resources away from the mountain search and redirecting them to roads and checkpoints, looking for a convoy that just didn't exist. This deception bought the single most valuable thing in any rescue mission: time.
And with that precious window of time, the mission goes from passive to active. The waiting game is over. In the dead of night, the order is given: go time. The rescue force launches, crossing into hostile airspace to go get their man.
And look, this was no small effort. The rescue package was like a symphony of force. You had helicopters for the actual extraction, fighter jets flying top cover, Reaper drones watching every single road, and right at the heart of it all, an elite special operations team trained for this exact scenario. This was an overwhelming show of force designed for one thing and one thing only: success.
And the on-the-ground part was incredibly fast. We're talking minutes. The special operators moved to his position, they assessed his injuries, and they got him on that helicopter with stunning efficiency. The goal wasn't to get into a fight. It was to be so unbelievably fast that a fight was impossible. In and out before the enemy even knew they were there.
But the mission wasn't over yet. Just when it seems like the hardest part is done, a new problem pops up back at a temporary staging area, forcing commanders to make another really difficult, high-stakes decision. So a heavy support aircraft, which was essential for the mission, gets stuck in the loose, uneven soil. It just cannot take off. Dawn is approaching, which means more visibility for the enemy. And that aircraft is loaded with sensitive U.S. technology sitting deep inside Iran.
Ultimately, they had to make the tough call. If you can't recover it, you deny it to the enemy. Explosives were set, and the multi-million-dollar aircraft was destroyed right there on the ground. It really underscores a key principle. In modern warfare, protecting information can be just as critical as protecting your people.
Which really leaves us with this final thought. When you start to factor everything in, the elite special operators, the fighter jets, the drones, the whole intelligence operation, and even the destroyed aircraft, it forces you to ask, what is the real cost, in both risk and resources, of bringing just one person home? It's a price that's measured in so much more than dollars.